All right, let's share this out live. Let's see. Real quick, just going to share this out to a few locations, and then we'll get started. Promise not to make you wait too long. Going live, as they say. If we could just see the full screen, then we could press send. All right, and one more share out onto Facebook. Let all the Facebook Denzians who might or might not care. It's amazing how slow the web is when you want it to be fast. Okay. What's the time? 11:53. All right, that should do it. So what I thought I would do today, as you can see, I'm actually coming at you from my sort of home office desk, which is a hallway down to a game room there and a game room there. This room behind me used to be a bedroom. And I guess this was kind of built to be like a nanny's quarters or something like that. And there's just dead space behind me. And so I've stuck a sofa down there and put a desk in the corner so that I could use that room to store all my games. And to my left, which is reversed here, of course, because of the webcam, we have my main game room where I've got a bunch of stuff set up. So today what I thought I'd try and do, and we'll see if we can get through all of this and me not forget what I said I would do, because that happens a lot. Quick little personal update, talk about what's coming up on the blog, so what you could look for. I haven't really done that before, but you know, sometimes a bunch of stuff comes out and people go, when did you play this, right? Or what's going on? What I'm currently playing on Vassal, what I'm playing solo here at the house, and some face-to-face gaming I've got coming up, and then some themes. Well, I'm going to talk about one of the themes I want to explore, and then some planned plays as well. So we're going to go for it from that perspective. And so the first thing, let's get some quick personal stuff out of the way. Being kind of, what's the right word for it? It's not stressful, but just intense. 2 or 3 months here, I left my job and received a kind of separation package that was reasonably generous, all sorts of fun stuff. But trying to work out what was going to be next was a challenge. I wasn't really too excited about a lot of the things I saw. However, last month I've been doing some work in the AI space, and that wasn't very interesting. Well, it was interesting, but it wasn't fruitful or productive for me. I don't think I was a good fit for the firm, and I was supposed to doing a contract, and a little bit stressful. It's a startup organization, and so anyway, we'll see what happens. So I left there. I left there on Monday last week. I said, hey, I'm out. So I'm not your guy. Let me help you find another guy if you want, but this ain't going to work out. So that was difficult to do because it was a friend of mine, his company, and he really, really needs some assistance because he's got a lot of people there pretending to be in business versus being in business. So that was hard. So I think 1st of June, I'll be starting a new job, and I don't want to talk about what that is right now, but I will be working from home, and I'm very excited about it. It's in a pretty interesting space in the technology world. So we'll get to that. And I want to say hi to Texas Wargamer. Hey man, how you doing? Welcome, and thanks for joining in. So let's see where we're so that's that, right? So let's talk about what's coming up on the blog. And the reason why I mentioned my personal stuff, because usually I don't do that too much on here, is that I haven't been doing a lot of live broadcasts for technology reasons mainly, but also I haven't done a lot of video and live play and stuff like that. So it's been a little complicated lifestyle going on at the moment. So I'm trying to get back into things. Hence the video today. So coming up on the blog, with things that we can look for, we can look forward to an NBT VAOR scenario write-up. I've got a handful of really good guest posts coming up. Another, the Second World War from TSWW Games. I forget what they're actually called, their proper company name. But it's John Bannerman's company, and it's kind of a Europa reboot. And if you said that, you would be offended because it's not Europa according to him, but it is. Anyways, another full detailed playthrough of that coming through. And so that'll be awesome. Some more discussion on MBT. I've got a write-up on Canadian Crucible, Fortress Nari. And let's see, 3 more posts on the Operation Exporter. So it's the African scenario for the TSWW system. And if I keep scrolling down, I wrap up the Rise of the Roman Republic Samnite Wars. There's a write-up on Selene from 73 BC, Spartacus battles coming up. There's a guest post on regime change, which is set in, I think that's next war. I want to say it's next war, Korea. I have to double check that. That's not my post, but that's another excellent guest post. We've got Go Tell the Spartans, a Mike Force review coming up. Enemy Action Ardennes. That's going to be a little bit of a brief one. Next war, Poland Tactical Surprise Scenario Replay. That's the write-up of the play I did quite a while ago, a couple of months ago. They'll have 3 or 4 posts on that, done in a narrative form. That should be fun. Let's see, I've got a full replay of Autumn for Barbarossa coming up. And let's see what we can't really talk about that one. That's a surprise. Ukraine 44 wrap-up video. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, and then, yeah, a write-up on Last Eagles on the victory conditions for that game. And Keith Blockus does Days of Villainy, Lock and Load Tactical. So you guys think I'm drunk when I do most of these, but it's just I can't speak. And then a few historical posts that are just like articles I found online that we can have a look at. So a lot of really cool stuff coming up, and that's just that's going to take us out 3 months of posts. So what I have been doing is, although I haven't been posting a lot lately, I've been trying to get a lot of my backlog of content written up. So I think hopefully all the way through the first 2 weeks of August, there should be 2 posts a week coming out. That's already all done and scheduled. And then my goal is to play the rest of all the rest of the other games I'm planning on playing and currently playing now, and then get them written up, and they'll kind of carry us through the rest of the year. And of course, there'll always be the random posts that I do when I'm really excited about a particular topic or a game, and I'll splash that up for you guys to take a look at. Okay, let's look at what I'm playing on Vassal. So I've got a weekly session, which has been interrupted for the last 3 weeks, but a weekly session going on Holland 44. I'm really kind of enjoying that. I'm starting to warm up to it. Once again, I'm on the side that's getting its ass kicked the entire time. So I'm the Germans. In this case, I think the tide is about to turn. So I'm hoping that I will have my opportunity to do a little bit of counterattacking against the evil forces of goodness. Evil forces of goodness. You can actually use that line if you wish. I'm also playing Case Blue Edge of the World scenario once a month or so. We're getting together to try and play that. That was happening kind of weekly, but it's kind of tapered off a little bit. So that is happening. I'm expecting that we'll wrap that scenario up. It's only 5 turns left in that guy. And we're cranking through 2 or 3 turns a session when we're playing that OCS title. So enjoying that a lot. I'm learning more about defense. It's a newbie who's playing with me. So, obviously I know a lot more about the game system than he does, but it's helping me on the defense learn how to try and use the system and game mechanics to my advantage while I'm trying to coach him on how to do offenses. I'm not doing a very good job because he's not me. I'm I've got a solo game of Land of Confusion, which is a high-flying dice game that I'm playing solo just because I don't own the game, and I found a vassal module for it. And it's a modern title. We're going to see. I want to experience a high-flying dice game. I've never played one of their titles before, and you know they always use a deck of cards in their game system, and so many of the games have a similar sort of flow and feel to them. So I'm hoping this will give me an opportunity to experience some of that stuff. I've got a very slow going, all my fault, the African campaign on Vassal going as well. That's the new reprint version. So that's snappy, pretty easy game. I'm about to get my ass handed to me in that because I could not knock out the Italians and capture Tobruk. So that's a problem. I'm planning 3 other sessions on Vassal. One is a scenario of DAC 2, and I'm going to be asking the person I'm going to play with to use Fog of War because I think the game's best played, OCS is best played that way. It stops this back to hunting BS that tends to go on when you play larger OCS scenarios. I'm hoping that Mitch Land and I, the designer of Next War from GMT, will help me and play on Vassal. We'll play Under an Iron Sky. We played that just a week ago, I think it was, in St. Louis, and quite enjoyed the smaller scenario. But we had a sort of large body of questions that sort of hung over the game, and I think we want to resolve that in the campaign and see whether it was the scenario that was driving the challenges we saw, or whether it was the actual game system that's causing the challenges. So we're going to do that, and I'm really excited about that. That'll be a fun campaign to play. We'll probably do a lot of it by email. I don't know how Mitch wants to play that. We're waiting on the Vassal module to be available. A buddy of mine is starting a new blog called Lens of History. It's not available yet, but one of the first series of games he's going to do is take 2 titles and compare them and see how the narrative changes over time. So that'll be pretty interesting. And one of the titles that I'm going to be playing with him is Korea from Future Games, and then we're going to use the Fire and Ice system once the FAQ is released and Adam fixes his rules. So that's going to be more like my side-by-side style plays that I was doing about a year and a half ago or so. And I'm trying to get back into those, and this chap is going to also do his fairly extensive write-ups, and I'll be taking my write-ups and providing them to him to put on his blog as well. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to doing that. Now, physically, out on the table right now, I've got a bunch of games with plans to publish all the playthroughs in August, and maybe just some teaser pictures and commentary as we kind of roll along. But we've got Casino, the SBI title, set up. We've got Crusader from SCS, and we're on turn 5 or 6 of that. We've got Opaque Wars. I'm on turn 5 of that. That's a Modern War title from Modern Warfare magazine, the strategy and tactics guys. It's not looking super good right now. I'm not very excited about it. I'm going to try and grind through a couple more turns and see what happens once we start doing these ceasefire rolls. It's all set. The Opaque War is set in around 2014 for the Ukrainian crisis that's going on, and still currently going on over there. I've got War on the Ice out, but I haven't set it up yet. I have this guy, 1938, What If? Yeah, I'm giving Thai Bomber another shot. So we'll see how that goes. And they're the main things I currently have set up on tables right now. Face to face in the next week or so, I'm going to play Königsberg, the Revolution Games title that's dealing with the sort of the death of Army Group Center, I guess you would call it, 1945. That is going to be lots of fun. I love that little system, so it's pretty cool. I've got some lock and load tactical lined up to play face to face as well. And let's see, I'm just looking at my list here. So in terms of stuff that I want to get to, I want to touch on Hexasim's system one more time and play Austerlitz by myself and play a little bit more complete scenario because the Prussians resigned, so the Austrians, excuse me, the Austrian Russian forces resigned too quickly for us to really get too far into the game because it just happened, right? It was just unlucky for them. I did some fun different stuff and it worked. So it didn't give me full exposure to the system in that particular title, and I love that particular battle. I think it's a fascinating battle. So I want to dig into that and compare it to GMT's Austerlitz, the Richard Berg system, Napoleonic system, which, you know, it's kind of like Great Battles of History, but in Napoleonic times. So we'll see what happens there. I don't think it'll be too hard to crank out. Just a lot of setup time for that. So we're going to get to that at some point this year. Having played Holland 44, everyone's been talking about Victory Games' Hell's Highway. Love to get some game time in there. Haven't started reading the rules yet. Haven't even pulled the box off the shelf. But that's an anticipated play there. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Also have started reading the Golf Strike rules because I'm a sucker for punishment, Mr. Herman. But I will. I'm working hard on those, and I know if we do play, I think we'll play the GNC module, not the golf stuff. Gotta get to Herman Luttman's At Any Cost Metz. That game is calling my name pretty aggressively. Challenges there. I've got to jump in and read the rule book from scratch, and it's a new system from scratch for me. So there's a little bit of overhead in getting started on that guy. All right. The Second World War. I have bitched about counter quality, and I bitched about the OB and how obtuse it is and difficult it is to set games up with. And the quality of the rule book from a physical production standard is very mediocre. All of that said, I am very curious about the system. I have my suspicions about its scale and what it's trying to do, whether it's actually sort of workable or not. So I'm hoping to set up a small scenario with that system later this year as well. Trying to work out how I can consume some of that system this year. And let's see, I do have a little gameplay planned of Alma, the GDW 120 title. I think that'll be a fun game to just light and easy, and we're going to tackle that pretty quickly. And that's probably it. I do have intention to play Herken, the Goth system, but I'll be doing that on Vassal initially, and then ideally being coached by a couple of friends, so that I can get through the rules overhead a little more effectively and more quickly than perhaps might normally be the case. So that's what's going on now in terms of buys, things that I'm looking to purchase at the moment. I do have a handful of Hollenspiel titles that I want to acquire, and I'm not going to go into all the details on which ones. It's not an advertorial for them at this time anyway. I'll wait till I actually get the titles in house, and then we'll play the games, and then we'll talk about what they're like. I am planning on divesting a significant chunk of games. I've grown very jaded with a lot of magazine games that I own. I had purchased many of them to fulfill that chronological walkthrough of World War II plan that I had, and we're kind of bouncing around between the end of 1943 and June 44, playing games that fit into that chronological walkthrough of World War II, and we're nearly done with World War II, right? It's a theme that we can always come back and add more titles to, so it's kind of a living, breathing thing. But a lot of the magazine games that I purchased for to fulfill the need there have been either been played or been attempted to play and been found to be wanting. So I'm going to be divesting a lot of those out of my out of my game system, I hope. So let's see. So that'll be SPI, Command Magazine games, any S&T current games I have, like this Opaque War, that'll be headed out the door pretty shortly. There'll be most of the boxed SPI games I'm probably going to get rid of as well. There's a handful I do want to try and play maybe one more time, but I'm not feeling it there anyway. All right, you know what? One thing I didn't do is actually do a sound check now that I'm 20 minutes into this, but I'm assuming that we're all good here. Like a couple of guys online at the moment anyway. So that was the update, and I wanted to try and keep this to just 20 minutes, and not kind of grind it out too long. But that's kind of what's going on. Because I'm doing this from my PC desk, I can't pick the phone up and walk you around and show you the games I'm specifically playing, but I can at least talk to you about what's going on. So I think that's all I had for you. I did want to make. No, I don't. I was going to make a comment about some of the dialogue that's going on online at the moment, but I think I'll just skip that and keep it all happy.